Hi, everybody. Welcome to Really, I'm a Grandparent. I am. Welcome. I'm James Lott Jr., and I just had a birthday since you talked to me last time. I aged a year. All I'm saying is I'm close to 60, believe it or not. I know.
Yeah, you're
I,
lucky.
I know. I can't believe it. Good. I think my mother for her genes.
Yeah.
Grandfather of five, as you guys know. I have five grandchildren. And as many of you guys know, my Lotties, my grandparent groups out there know, I'm a long distance grandparent. So for me, it's tough because I don't see them hardly ever like I would like to. COVID happened, distance, the whole thing. But can you imagine if you couldn't see them at all?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yes, you guys can. Yes, they can. We're going to talk to this couple who actually did something that I love action. I love action items. They did something where they decided to help other people who either have the grandparent alienation or don't have kids or grandkids in their lives. And also involving foster kids who also need homes and love and attention. They have a thing called fosterfolks.com is their website and their program. And when I came across my desk, I was like, I need them on my show because I've never heard of this before. We're going to talk to them about this. They've had very interesting lives outside of all this. We're going to talk about how they got this started. And if you want to get involved, they can let you know that too. Help me welcome Ken and Darlene Tipton. How you
Hey,
doing? Welcome to the show. And I, number one, when I read part of your story about the grandparent alienation, I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm sorry you guys are going through it.
yeah, it sucks.
No, I'm sure. I can't remember. I mean, I get upset because I can't see mine enough.
Mhm.
So if I have a sister she's a grandmother too, and they all live right here. And there's times when I get jealous and upset, and I get upset. But at least I know at some point I can go see them
Mhm.
up in Northern California. And so, or I can talk to them on a FaceTime or whatever. But you're saying no communication at
None.
all.
Yeah, it started in 2016, right in the middle of the presidential election. Ah,
Yeah.
and our daughter just said she cut off all contact with the entire family.
Yeah. We have not seen the kids since then.
Since it's been what, nine,
Nine,
9 years now.
9 years now.
And we don't know why. We assume it had something to do with the election, but we don't know why. And yeah, when last time we saw Maverick and Makara, Maverick was 6, Makara was 4, and now he's almost
He's
16 and she's
he's in high
14.
school.
And we
We haven't seen him.
seen him and talked to him nothing, and that hurts.
And we are in prime grandparent mode. We need somebody to grandparent.
Yeah, we're retired, we're healthy, we're okay. We need kids to play with, and so we basically went looking for some way to be foster grandparents to families that don't have any, and there wasn't any.
Yeah, that surprised us. We assumed that this would be something that was out there on the internet, but no, nowhere, nothing like it.
And just to clarify, when we use the term foster folks, it's just a marketing term. We have nothing to do with the foster system.
Nothing.
What we're looking for is families that have kids, but no grandparents, aunts, or uncles. And then we want seniors and young people who want to be aunts to connect with them. And that's what we're doing, is helping them connect.
Building a new kind of family, just, based on people who need and love each other.
Yep, one heart at a time.
No, that's the thing. No, seriously, there's like I interviewed someone on my show during the pandemic. I was write a letter to a senior. That was her whole thing, and she was like, and so it was more about community. What you're talking about is community. It's like we're a village. I believe in that completely. We're a giant
Big
village,
time.
right? And the village takes care of its elders. The elders take care of the younger one. Like it's all together.
It's all symbiotic.
Right. So you agree with that? So you're gonna say that's kind of your same concept.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, same concept.
And there was no way to do it. So we created a website. We coded it ourselves because we didn't have any money.
Okay, wait. I got to ask you because I know it's a stereotype. But I tell you, I've had the young kids help me get all this stuff together because I'm like, how does this work? And what do I do on a website? What's that? Like I seriously, when I first started, I was like, I have no idea. So
Yeah.
you're the same like me, kind of like,
Well,
yeah, we went to one of those do-it-yourself websites and just
and did it ourselves.
around.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I really want to start from the beginning because I know my fans love hearing the a little bit into the weeds of stuff.
Sure.
First of all, I always say folks. That's one of my words. I'm because my friends from the South. I don't know what it is. I always say folks.
Yeah. It's folks. That's it. Yeah.
It's warm.
And foster folks it rang.
Yeah.
So,
It does. So it does. It's a great name. So foster folks, I love that. Secondly, I mean, so you and Darlene go, okay, we want to put together something that's more of a social aspect thing. So it's a very social situation.
yeah, it's a social network. Yeah.
So how'd you guys map it out? Who's organized? Who kind of took charge? How did it kind of work out in the beginning to come up with this concept?
Basically, we just got to talking about what can we do? How can we find families out there that don't have any grandparents? Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, we figured we couldn't be alone in this. We have a lot of senior friends, and some of them have not seen their grandkids for a while. Some are alienated, some it's just distance. But we all had this thing in common that we are grandparents and we want to be grandparents, and we just need somebody to love and grandparent.
And just, what grandparents do. Because grandparents play that interesting role. They're not parents and they're not this, but they still have a good, how do you say, what the kids learned from what we learned from our grandparents was great stuff. And when we were getting into trouble, they'd sit us down.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we learned so much from their experiences. And it was just genuine, good, fun, loving. And we miss that. And we had it with our grandkids before.
Yeah.
We did.
I loved my grandparents. I even had great grandparents. I was an adult.
Wow.
Very rare. Very rare. And I loved them too. I was very fortunate.
You wouldn't give your grandma any lip, would you?
Oh, please. And she was, always say she was as big as she was round. She was like 4 foot nothing, but she carried a big personality.
And we loved it.
Yeah. And we understood it.
Yeah.
Well, I know back in the day, any adult was in charge. It didn't matter who it was.
Yeah.
Said your name at a certain time.
And when they use my full name instead of Ken, when they say Kenneth, oh my God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. And my grandmothers were, they were tough women. I feel like my grandfathers, I guess they were tough, but they weren't. It was the grandmothers that were like, they were
exactly. Grandmothers were the toughest.
Woo!
Grandpa would say, all right, we'll go mess around and grandma won't know, but then grandma finds out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. That was mine too. They were like, I remember my grandpa Bob, he was such a larger than life character. He always had a cigar in his mouth. He ate with that thing, drank with it, everything.
Oh, dear.
always. It was always his mouth. It was always his mouth. And I remember once the kid, I think, asking, like, can I try one or something like that? And I remember him telling me, I was like 10 years old. I'll never forget this. He was like, these cigars cost more than your life.
Yeah, that's the cigars.
Waste one on you. Wait till you're an adult, maybe when you're 20.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I don't know what that means. And I remember my grandmother said, she told me years later after he passed, she lived longer than he did. She goes, he thought it was so touching that you wanted to copy him, so to speak. But he goes, those were real Cuban cigars. Like, they were really expensive. I said, okay. I know cigars now as an adult. I know how that works now. But I think like a little fun. Like, fun. I want to try some fun. He's like, no, we're not wasting that on the grandkids. So,
No.
Fun story for me. It was like, but he thought it was cool that I wanted to emulate him.
Exactly.
But there was like, oh, here's the reality. We're not doing those things. Okay, so you guys decide. So you start to build a website. But the thing is, like, did you start locally? Like, how did you start locally then build out? Like, how did you?
Well, what we did, we tried building it on Squarespace, which is
Squarespace, yes. I remember
a yourself deal. And then we got to thinking, what are we really doing? Our site is nothing more than a dating site.
It's exactly like a dating site.
It just has different audiences. And so we looked around for companies that had software that you could adapt to what you wanted. And so there was this group in Ukraine that we contacted, and we could hear bombs going off as they're talking about coding. And I'm like,
okay, dude.
And they gave us a great price. Well, they built us a website, and it was going fine. And then all of a sudden one day we got a email from Shark Tank saying, hey, what you got there looks interesting. Would you like to audition? So we did. Mm-hmm. And then we posted on our Facebook that we had auditioned for Shark Tank. All of a sudden our website crashed.
Everything, because too many people were coming in all at once. It was not designed for that. We had no idea it would go like that.
And so we had to start all over. We had to shut it down.
From code line 1, we rebuilt it.
Yeah, we actually had to get on our 401k, draw out
Yeah.
a big chunk of change and hire professional people. So what you see now is a professional website, although it looks,
Homey?
yeah, it doesn't look like normal websites that are colder
Yeah.
because our market is seniors. And we got to make the type bigger and things
Yeah.
smooth and easy to understand.
Yes.
It's got to be clear. It's got to be easy to navigate. So you don't need to get a 10-year-old in to tell you how to do it.
Seniors are our primary market. Our secondary market are families with children with no grandparents or aunts and uncles. And then a third group we didn't think about it was singles, young couples that want to be aunts and uncles.
We were actually surprised by the number of people who did want to be foster uncles and aunts. They may be living apart from their family for work or whatever, and family interaction is something you really miss. And we wanted, when we realized there was a need for that, we can provide that.
Yeah, especially the gay and lesbian community.
Yes.
They're probably 80% of our signups for the foster aunts and uncles.
That makes sense.
They know what alienation feels like.
Yeah, they do. So we're all encompassing, and now we've got the website, so now we have to market it. And thank you for talking to us.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, it's a whole thing of creating your own families when you don't have one, and also, no one talks about aunts and uncles enough these days. I mean, it's starting to be,
and there's a lot of lonely. I mean, there's a lot of lonely seniors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lonely. I mean, I've got some kids that are, they're 32, 36 years old, but they go to work. They don't have a life, and they don't have any.
And they don't really know what uncle, aunt.
No, they don't have any uncle, aunt type stuff.
My parents both came from large families. I had 21 blood uncles and aunts. I know uncle, aunt interaction.
Yikes.
And I look around now, and so many kids don't have that because either their parents are only siblings, or they live so far from family, or they're alienated.
Yep.
And that is a need that really needs to be addressed, just for the heart.
Yeah, we never heard of grandparent alienation before. And then once this happened, we looked online, and there are just thousands of grandparent alienation Facebook sites, every state. And June 14th is actual Grandparent Alienation Day, which I know we're not going to get any press because that's the day
somebody's having a military parade.
Yes, Trump's birthday is going to have a military parade, so it's going to be hard to get any notice of traction for grandparent alienation.
But that is our day, and we're still going to use it, expand on it,
and just to get the word out that it exists.
Yes, we're here for you.
Well, folks who are watching, listening to it, this is being released on June 14th on purpose. I'm releasing it.
That's all right. Excellent.
To bring attention to this on this day. We're gonna promote the F out of it too. Trust me. The out of it. Why? Because the grandparents on him. I'm sorry, you're funny. But no, seriously, I didn't, because I learned about Grandparents' Day itself like a few years ago. I didn't know nothing about that either. It's in September. So my daughter brought it up.
Yeah, September.
I'm like, oh, but no one talks about it. So we're going to talk about it. Don't worry. We're on this channel. We're going to talk about it for sure. But no, I just think it's amazing. So wait a minute. So Shark Tank learned about you guys.
Yeah.
Was that audition? And which of the sharks did you guys audition for?
Well, there weren't any sharks there.
Okay, so it was like,
yeah, they invited. You're in California. They invited us out to the Morongo Casino, and their convention center that sits next to us.
And there were producers there who were doing the interviewing.
Yeah, there was about 900 companies, and we're all standing in the parking lot in the drizzling rain.
Yeah, wrapped around the building.
Yeah, and they were getting us wristbands to go in. So you just had to do interviews, and it was weird because you go to one interview, and if you don't do another one, you're pretty well dead.
Okay.
But if you go to the next one and to the next one. And so we were learning as we were going, and we can't say a lot about it. Their NDA is like
scary.
Thick.
It's very scary. But there is something when you're talking to somebody and you're explaining the concept and their eyes light up, like, I've never heard of this before. This is great. And
it's so simple.
It is very simple, but it hasn't been done before. And then you get passed to the next person because, oh, what a great idea. Oh, what a great idea. And we went through the gauntlet of the great idea people, and there we
And then
are.
at dinner later that night, there was this group of young people, and they were looking at us, and they kept doing this and pointing. I'm like, why are they looking at us? And they finally came over and says, were you the guys with the Foster folks at the Shark Tank? I said, yeah. I says, we want to tell you, we've interviewed 50,000 companies, and we've never seen something that was just a pure feel-good concept.
Mm-hmm.
That it was win-win for everybody. And you guys have a unicorn. We're like, great.
Okay.
What's a unicorn?
You're like, come on, feed the unicorn. Come on, folks.
And we didn't ask that. We just said,
Okay,
thank you.
yeah.
Well, once they left, we looked it up. Oh, a unicorn is a website that if it does an IPO has a potential of raising over $1 billion. We're like,
okay.
What?
That's us. All right, fine.
And so we actually hired a company to evaluate what we did. It's called a 409A. And they came back with the same thing, that not only we have no competition.
No.
We can do this worldwide.
Yes.
And we actually went to Match.com, which they own all the big dating sites. They own Tinder, Plentyfish,
Farmer
Match,
Needs a Wife,
yeah,
that sort of thing.
And we want to be spokespersons, and we don't want to run the company. So we want them to buy. And they said, interesting concept. Show us a POC, which is proof of concept, and then we'll talk. Well, lots of weird things have happened, but also at that Shark Tank, there was all these people going around doing other interviews. We thought it was part of Shark Tank, but it was not. It was private investment companies looking to pick up deals they could sneak off of Shark Tank.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it's logical. Yeah.
So 9 of them contacted us.
Mm-hmm.
We came back to LA. We met with all 9. 5 made offers. And in the last offer, and we turned them all down because this 409A that we got says, yes, you have a concept that is worth $1 billion if you do an IPO. So when they offered 15 million, we had to decline it.
That wasn't easy.
I'm sure it wasn't. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Okay.
And the reason is because we now have several mentors. And these mentors won't let us use their names, but they are.
You'd know them.
Yeah, you know them, especially if you're familiar with Shark Tank.
I am. I am.
Okay, so they said, look, here's what you need to do. Get it programmed right, and then get an IPO. IPOs cost $1 million, $2 million in some cases, which we don't have. However, as you mentioned, I'm getting a settlement from the Boy Scouts, and I'm going to use that. So their advice was, if it's worth 15 million to them now, it's worth 150 million next month, because even if we had competition, you don't need a lot of people.
No.
I mean, we're not charging, it's all free.
Yeah.
But at some point we will monetize it just like a dating site.
Yeah.
So when you got 100,000 people paying $10 a month,
that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah. That is.
And what we want to do is, if somebody buys this, we just want them to keep us as the spokesperson.
Because we're kind of cute.
Yeah, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, like the Colonel did.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But if they don't, I got a son that's got an MBA. We're ready to run the company. We'll hire all the people we need to, and we'll make this as big as we need to and have fun. And what we want is to find people we can be foster grandparents to their family.
Yeah. This just started because we needed somebody to grandparent.
Yes.
And you know how that is. When you're watching watching Little Mermaid, you got the grandkids there and you're in bummer. There's just nothing better. It's just.
Yeah, there's something, so for my birthday, I had to stay I have an aging parent, so I'm dealing with that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm part of that sandwich generation, as they call it. I have the grown kids, the grandkids, I have the aging parents. I had parents, but one passed away 2 years ago. So my mom said I couldn't go away for my birthday. I was gonna go to Sacramento, see my kids and everything. But my 2 youngest, because they're 2 and 4, they sent me a video. And it was like the cutest video on earth. I cried. I thought,
We cry a lot too.
Yeah,
and
I get
Papa Jamie sobbed.
it.
My sister, she sobbed. So everybody's crying. And so you're right. There's something about that, and I don't see them enough just due to time and life. And they're growing up before my eyes. But luckily, we do now. The first set of grandkids, I didn't really even have all this stuff. Now we kind of have this Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff. Um, but it's not the same as being in person. So you're right, Ken and Darlene. It's one of those things. It's not the same as like the older grandkids. I was there when they were kids. I lived closer, so I played in the backyard with them. You know,
Right.
the fight on the couch to who's going to sit next to Papa Jamie. That whole thing. Like I remember all that stuff, and or just even even as they're getting older, which I hope happens for you. I hope they come looking for you after they get after 18.
I hope so too.
Oh, those one of those things. One of those things for me because now I have these newly adult grandchildren. This one daughter started early, one started late, so they're both like totally separate. But the older ones, I was there in Sacramento. We were sitting in my granddaughter's room, and just the three of us first talking. My grandson, her, and it was so much fun talking teenager with them. Just like it was a whole different. That was new to me. I never had a teenage grandchild before, and now I do, and it was a whole different feeling.
Yeah.
I can say a few more things, and I can listen to them, and they tell me these stories. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I remember that, or ask me more questions about their mother. Tell us about mom, and I'm like,
Yeah.
See, a grandchild can ask a grandparent something they can't ask of their own parent
Yes.
and know that we'll keep it.
yes,
Yeah, we have that little, it's a secret bond that
Yeah.
we can keep secrets. They'll also let us know if we're screwed up.
And we can be more fun than the parents because
Yes, because
we're not in that market anymore.
Well, you know what else you guys are doing? It's because I like older people, so I don't have any aunts and uncles really anymore. They're all died out. So
right.
I gravitate towards. I'm here in Hollywood. I work in Hollywood and media and all that stuff. I gravitate towards the older actors and older producers. They have all the stories. They're a lot of fun. Usually, they're irreverent. They say crazy things. Like I love all this stuff, and because I'm that person for my younger people in my life, I look for it too. So what you're doing is you're also bringing that together too, where the younger and the older come together. And they have that figure in their life, whether it's blood or not. It doesn't even matter if it's blood or not, but still that type of figure that when they get older, they're going to appreciate it.
Yes, I think they will.
Yeah. And family is who you love, whether you're related to them or not.
Right.
The bond should be love, and that's what we're promoting.
Well, you're promoting energy too. I think the energy is.
Well, I think it works together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a great thing. I'm saying because it's like you're also promoting younger, older energy still being together. Because I mean, nowadays, because everybody's so busy and everybody's trying to make ends meet, and people, it's like you just forget that in the old days, sometimes your grandparents lived with you, and there are several generations. And like you said, not having as many kids they used to. I have several friends. You said this earlier, Darlene. I have one friend in particular who he's the only child. Each of his parents are only children.
Mm-hmm.
He has no aunts and uncles, no cousins. He never knew his grandparents. They died before he was born. And they only had a couple of siblings that they weren't close to. So it's like, he said, I had no family. I had a distant fourth cousin somewhere that came around a while. Yeah.
That's a lonely life.
It is. Yeah. It's more common than we think. I mean, it's more common.
Yes.
It is. And they're missing out so much on the kind of enrichment that we can give them. As you said, not just from education and life experience, just having somebody new to hug who really wants to hug you back. Yeah. Somebody who wants to take you to do something that you want to do. And you don't have to go through all the parental logistics to do it.
And we listen to what they talk about.
That's really key.
So how is the matching process?
Like I said, it's just like a dating site. In other words, you have to answer a bunch of demographic questions because you can filter it by location, because we don't really want to travel more than 500 miles away.
Got it.
Location, ethnicity, race,
political affiliation,
sexual orientation, just about everything a dating app asks is the same thing we do. Then it will show you people who live within those parameters. They will show you on a map, and then you can see what they've got. And if they look interesting, you send them a message, an instant message.
Yeah.
And then you start a relationship. And then when it's ready to move to the final deal, if everything's working out, we don't insist, but we encourage that everybody do a background check on each other.
I agree with that. Yes.
And
because go ahead.
We don't do that, but we do provide the tools for them to do it. And again, I think anybody who has any small sense of prudence at all would do that. You're not going to drop your kids off at McDonald's to meet a complete stranger unless you're a little.
Exactly. And the service we got is a global service.
Yeah.
So when we do expand, it's already there. And
they're
that's where it
very
works like a dating site. No, we don't have any responsibility because the responsibility is on the parties. They have to figure out if they're a good match, if they work out, and we will assist in any way we can, but they got to use common sense because there will be people out there wanting to scam older people.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll give us a sad story. They might even make up a family. So at some point when we do monetize it, they're not going to want to pay a fee each month to scam people. So that'll get rid of a lot of people.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. No, I'm glad you said, because I was worried about that too. I was like, I mean, so people, it's for like anything else, use of common sense.
Buyer beware, that kind of stuff.
Buyer beware. Just if you feel something, go with it. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Right?
Look at their social media postings.
Yes.
Everything's laid out there and we got it step by step so they know what to do. The trick is they just have to go out there and find it and make the communication.
So I'm assuming it's 18 and under, right? That's the whole thing, right? Because you see, I didn't see you say age, but I figure it's 18 and under, or
We've never really specified.
I don't think there's I honestly don't think there's I don't remember it being programmed into there.
I don't think so.
Well, then that's a great thing. So if you are 20, 21, looking for a mentor, a grandfather figure,
Sure, mentors would be a great idea.
Yeah, we're available for that.
So if you're a teenager and you don't have any grandparents, you might get on there and find an aunt and uncle or a grandparent or something.
That's what I was thinking about that. I was like, that could be something too, actually. Yes.
Yeah.
We all need older figures in our lives, so for various things. And so you also said you match up with hobbies too. There's hobby matching too. Yeah. Okay. I was saying you both like basketball, or you both like.
Oh yeah. There's a whole list of things.
Okay.
Like we both like to fly.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have a family who would be interested in joining us.
Especially because we fly gyrocopters, which are a little weird.
What are those?
They're like single or double person personal helicopters.
But they're not helicopters.
Well, they're like helicopters, but they're so much fun to fly.
They have a main rotor, but it's not powered. There's an engine that pushes you forward, which makes the spin, and that's how you fly.
And the physics of it are such that even if the engine cuts out, you will not drop like a rock out of the sky.
Oh, okay.
Which is a lot better than helicopters.
Oh God, yes.
They're flying rocks.
Yeah.
You both fly. You both are pilots.
Yeah, and we're in Studio City. We go out to Gavita and fly out there. But that's what and it's just so much fun because you don't have to fly at 5,000 feet, which gets boring. Fly at about 500 to 1,000 and just follow the landscape. And
it's like a motorcycle in the sky.
That's what it is, a motorcycle in the sky.
Well, you guys have those. I mean, I used to work in Studio City, North Hollywood. You have the hills. Like when you
yeah.
The other side is all those hills, Laurel Canyon. Also, it's all those hills there.
Ojai Valley. That would be great. Yeah.
Let's go into my mom. She loves Ojai. She used to go to Madonna Inn all the time.
Yes, we do too. We love the different rooms. I think we've done every room over the last 20 years.
I think they have too. I think they did.
Very close to it.
Yeah,
we use meals there at the restaurant too.
I like the pink and gold and the men's room.
Yeah, some are weird looking.
I've never been personally, but my mom and dad, that was their thing.
Oh, they're fun, especially take a girl there.
Yeah, I feel like, and the showers are all like.
Yeah. Oh my God!
I've seen pictures.
They're all true.
Yeah, I go, Mom, I don't want to see this. I'm too young. Yeah, it's fun, but no, there's some great places here in Southern California, obviously, but I've never heard of it before. So okay. See, folks, if you like to fly something interesting,
yeah, not Covina and flying a gyrocopter.
Yeah. I mean, it was a courtship test with us. He wasn't sure I was telling the truth, but he's got some video of me doing touch and goes and so cool. So
Right.
yeah,
I've,
it worked out.
I've always flown my entire life, and if she wasn't interested, that was going to be
A
a
deal
deal
breaker.
breaker.
But could you, seriously, on a side note, could you imagine if she was afraid to fly and you like
Oh
fly
God.
for him too, vice versa? That wouldn't work. That wouldn't
No,
work.
No.
I was looking for a partner, not a wife that stays home while I'm out doing
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, right.
Thing.
And her first flight, she was screaming. Yeah.
That was
So,
not my first flight.
well,
All right, my first flight that you
it'd be
said.
first flight and an ultralight.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we went from
Yeah.
ultralights to gyrocopters, and that's
Yeah.
a different story.
that's.
So have you guys heard any feedback from people who've hooked up together and it's been like just wonderful for them? Anything stand out, or what is some of the general consensus you've gotten?
Well, it's just kind of a feeling of surprise. There's a little caution at first, obviously, but the filtering process generally puts the right people together. And there's usually kind of an instantaneous recognition. They have things to talk about, they have lots in common already. And, it's like meeting any other, somebody brings a new member into your family. And that's just really what it is. We are bringing a new members into each family.
Mhm.
And they'll do the little introduction and then they warm up. I think they warm up faster than any other situation because they already know that there's a positive vibe going on there.
Yeah,
They have, as I said, similar interests,
religion.
Religion.
In other words, everything matches.
Okay.
and they know they're there for the love.
Yeah.
And once they do that background check and it comes back good, then the next thing is they meet.
Yeah.
And the people we talked to so far, they said it was a little awkward because no one really knew what they're doing. But within 10 minutes of the kids running around,
Yeah.
and then, we have not heard back that anyone has actually made a firm connection yet. We've got one family that really wants us to be their grandparents,
Oh
but
yeah.
they live in Nashville.
Oh,
Oh.
And I would, and they sent pictures.
Oh.
It's a family, a guy who's married to a Chinese woman she's American, but their little Chinese daughter
So.
speaks Mandarin and English, and she is so cute and so intellectual.
And you just want to wrap your arms
Yeah.
around her. I mean, she's just.
So I'm thinking we may have to expand our deal and go. Although he used to work in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and he wants to move back here. So if he moves,
He moves back here.
yeah,
We're set.
please do.
I love it. So what is next? So for you, what would you like to see have happened with foster folks? What's some things like to happen? The next
Basically, now that we've chewed up a big punch about retirement,
Yeah.
we'd like to get our money back. So
Oh,
we
there's
need
that.
to get the word out. And like I said, we don't have any money for marketing.
No.
And so we appreciate the fact that you're giving us this opportunity. What we did find out during the Shark Tank deal and these other private investor things, they said that we can't sell our stock to just ordinary people. We can only sell to what's called accredited investors who are rich people. However, the law allows us to give you the stock, free stock, in exchange for influencers promoting our website. So we just signed our first contract with a magazine called Grand Magazine. It's the #1 magazine for grandparents. We've signed a contract that they'll give us $15,000 worth of advertising over the year in exchange for 15,000 shares of stock at $1 a piece. And it's all tracked online through a company where you put your capitalization table and stuff. So that's what we're going to pursue now, is how to find influencers who target markets are ours, seniors, families, or young people who want to be aunts and uncles. One being Ellen DeGeneres.
Yes.
Ellen, we've known Ellen for a while. My wife's worked with her, and obviously she's not in Hollywood anymore. She got canceled.
No.
But we know her as a person who's
Such
really
a good heart. Oh my God, what a good heart.
We don't agree with what happened, but she's got 300 million followers in her social media, and they're women over 50 and seniors, and so our publicity shots were done by her sister-in-law. So we're going to go through her to see if we can make an offer. Say, look, 10 million shares of stocks to go to your charities for promoting what I'm doing, and we're hoping she thinks, hey, this is a feel-good project. This is something I could get behind.
Yeah.
And we'll find out in a couple weeks.
We just need to get the word out. I mean, the market is there, the people are there. They just don't know we're here.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of it
Oh.
until.
I
How
know.
did you find it?
How'd you find it?
What I found out is your PR person reached out.
Okay.
So she must have found me because I'm in the grandparent space. I have 2 grandparent shows. I write a column for caringgrandparents.com. I'm gonna be in a grandparent book for somebody. It was 10 page. I do a lot of stuff in the grandparent space. My stuff is usually younger grandparents, as grandparents who are late 30s to mid 50s. And it's a space it's growing. I mean, that was me. It's growing.
Exactly.
A grandparent's a grandparent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter if you're 50 or 40.
Yeah, you're a grandparent. And there's different challenges when you're at that age, and different wonderful things when you're at that age too. So that was I went through. But that's the whole thing. So I've been moving around this space, and I'm finding, talking to you guys, talking to other people, it feels like we're not talking about grandparents enough. It seems like it's like that's the consensus.
Well, there's an assumption that grandparents are just there. And they're not. In this society, it's just not like it's been at any other point in history. Everybody is so physically separated, now politically separated, ideologically separated, and the ones who are missing out are the children.
I agree.
So we want to do this as much for the kids as for us. I mean, yeah, it's for us. We, as I said, I keep using the phrase, we need somebody to grandparent, and we're ready. We are just right there. I'll take you to tea. I'll teach you to cook. We'll teach you to go to Disneyland. We'll go flying, and I'll hug you. I'll give you lots of hugs.
Listen to you, and we'll guide you, and
yes,
just like grandparents do.
And you can tell us the secrets you can't tell your parents.
Yes. I love it. I just no, seriously, I think it's a great idea, and so I'm going to help promote it, of course. And I said off camera, I'm gonna send some stuff to some people say talk to you also, because why not? I mean, let's get this out there. Again, it's about connection, and nowadays we're losing it.
Yeah,
we need it back. We need it back, and kids should be able to be kids,
and
have all the luxuries of what that entails, including a grandparent figure.
I agree.
And also, it shows too on the other end, people who are retired and are older. They need something to wake up, the reason to wake up. And
exactly.
This could be a great reason to wake up.
We think so.
I think so. Also, so it's fosterfolks.com. If anybody, since you are on here, if you're looking for investors or anything, what do you want to say to people if they want to get invested in your company?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go to fosterfolks.com. It has it has background on the company and Shark Tank and all the other stuff, and it has our bios. So it pretty well.
It's all right there.
Yeah.
But you got to know to go there and find it. And it's all about feeling good. There's no downside to it. It's just about getting people together who can form loving bonds.
Yeah, new families.
New families.
Fosterfolks.com, fosterfolks.com. You don't hear anything else we said today. Remember that, fosterfolks.com. Go there, check it out. I'm looking at it right now because I have it up on my screen right now. You'll see all their stuff on there. They have an investor section, about us section, contact them, all kinds of stuff up there. Check them out. Thanks, you guys, for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
You have to come back.
We enjoyed it.
Yes, you have to come back when something major happens. You have to come back.
Absolutely.
When we get a match or something, we'd love to introduce, even if it's somebody else that matches.
It's family.
Yep.
I think the Nashville, something's going to happen with that one.
Oh, gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, she's such a sweetie.
I'm feeling it. I think something's going to happen. Oh, anyway, I'm James Lott Jr. That's something totally different. I'm James Lott Jr. Follow me everywhere. We're everywhere. Like, seriously, everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google. We're everywhere. And this show is everywhere, too. It's called Really I'm a Grandparent. Also, check out my other show, Really I'm a Great Grandparent. No, that's not what it's called. Really I'm a Great Grandson. I'm talking about my family as I go through my ancestry.com, and I'm going through and learning about my grandparents and great grandparents. It's a fun show. I'm finding all kinds of stuff. And I found a cousin recently, so you want to go check that out on that channel too. because I'm trying to do this whole thing. I think family and generational things, I love that stuff so much. It's very important today for everybody to have different generations supporting each other while we go through this crazy life. We do. We got
Yes.
to do this somehow, right? Thanks for watching. Every Saturday, new episodes. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.